We'll be having 8 studies together in the book of Revelation. It's obvious we cannot study all the details of the difficult 22-chapter book.
Hello, welcome everybody to another episode of Ask Me Anything. If you're watching this right now, it's because you're a part of this ministry with us.
All right, welcome back to Cultish, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeremiah Roberts, one of the co-hosts here.
The way in which we are to reason with the unbeliever in the following ways. Number one, we want to demonstrate ignorance in the unbeliever, okay? Number two, we want to highlight the fact that, like the scripture says, the unbeliever knows God. And then thirdly, Dr. Bonson suggests that we demand total philosophical renovation, an entire worldview shift and change as we call the unbeliever to repentance. And of course, this is going to be the work of proclaiming the truth along with the power of the Spirit working in the hearts of the individual. But we call for an entire worldview change, so to speak.
The church is filled throughout our history, with Jews and Gentiles who believe in Jesus, and they are the true Israel.
Loving your wife as Christ loved the church means you pour into her by pouring over her the truth of God's word.
You have to come and take up your cross and die, or don't come. That's how Jesus says it. And then everyone leaves.
I think there can be masculinity in like a female and a man.
I would say to this that masculinity is something that is both caught and taught, right? There are biological realities built into the world. There's differences between the sexes and that these are good. But then I would also say that there is a guiding vision and ethical system that determines whether masculinity exercised will be virtuous or destructive.
What's important to note, just from a biblical perspective, when you listen to Andrew Tate's description of the Christian faith, his understanding of the Christian faith, you really begin to understand that Andrew Tate never was a Christian. He never understood the Christian faith.
Hey, welcome back to Revealed Apologetics. I'm your host, Eli Ayala, and today we're going to be taking a look at the popular encyclopedia of apologetics, surveying the evidence for the truth of Christianity.
The covenant of redemption, right? This isn't the same thing as the covenant of grace. It's not the same thing as any other covenant in Scripture. So the covenant of redemption is the foundation that existed before the world began. And the covenant of redemption paves the way for everything else that we're going to be studying in this series.
We'll be having 8 studies together in the book of Revelation. It's obvious we cannot study all.
For most people, their finances aren't one big problem. It's 100 small ones. A retirement account from a job 5 years ago. A budget that lives in your head, but never on paper. Life insurance that you meant to look into. A will half finished or not even started. And the longer you leave those loose ends untied, the harder it becomes to move forward with peace of mind. At Dominion Wealth, we walk with you step by step to help you tie it all together. We meet you where you are. We listen. We get your financial picture out of your head and into practice. Then we build a strategy to meet your needs now, prepare for your future, and bless the next generation. We don't pressure you. We give biblical, honest guidance. Let the strategy follow your values and help find the right solutions. If your financial path feels uncertain, let's get together one-on-one and get you on the right track. Book a free consultation today. We are here to help you get your finances in order so you can feel confident about the future. From baptism to burial, Dominion's got you covered. You can find us at reform.money.
Non-rockaboatists must stop. I don't want to rock the boat. I want to sink it.
Are you going to bark all day, little doggy, or are you going to bite?
Brett, delusional is okay in your worldview. I'm an animal. You don't chastise chickens for being delusional. You don't chastise pigs for being delusional. So you calling me delusional using your worldview is perfectly okay. It doesn't really hurt. She hung up on me.
What?
Desperate times call for faithful men and not for careful men. The careful men come later and write the biographies of the faithful men, lauding them for their courage.
Go into all the world and make disciples. Not go into the world and make buddies. Not to make brosives.
Right.
Don't go into the world and make homies.
Right.
Disciples.
I got a bit of a jiggle neck. That's a joke, Pastor.
When we have the real message of truth, we cannot let somebody say they're speaking truth when they're not.
Take an amazing journey to a place that will blow your mind and move your heart so you will never be the same again.
Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle. Psalm 144:1. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Gospel Heard Around the World. This is Apologia Radio. I'm Jeff the Ninja. That's Luke the Bear.
What up?
You guys can get more at apologiastudios.com. That's APOLOGIA. apologiastudios.com. Go there. Get all the past episodes of Provoked, Sheologians, Cultish, Apologia Radio. They're all there for your listening pleasure. Over it was 15 years of stuff there, guys. And sign up for All Access. When you partner with us with All Access, you get all kinds of additional content just for you. We want to bless you guys for being a part of this ministry with us. And you produce and you help to produce all of the content going around the world, the tens of millions of people who have been impacted by the gospel and the teaching ministry, all the on-the-street evangelism, everything happening that's on a regular basis coming through this platform is because of you partnering with us with All Access. So go over there after the show today, sign up for All Access, be a part of this ministry. The app is finished, and it is being approved and everything with all the platforms, and so we're just waiting for the release date and everything else for you guys. So I want to thank you for all of you guys that have been with us since the very beginning. God bless you. Thank you for being a part of this ministry and putting your hand in our hands. We're grateful to do this with you. Next year, we hope to have the best year ever. All kinds of new stuff we're rolling out for you guys, and just to be a blessing to the world, to get the gospel out. So we are talking today about human trafficking, and our friend Navy SEAL Jared Hudson running for senator in the state of Alabama. I saw Jared a couple weeks ago when I was doing the TPUSA thing, and Jared, welcome to Apologia Radio, brother.
What's up, fellas? Thank you for having me.
Went a little Jamaican there, brother. It's good to see you. What are you doing in your car, man? Where are you going?
I just spoke at a Republican women's event. Now I'm going back to the office to do a little bit of work and then going home. We've got a kid with the flu this evening, so that pulled me off of the campaign trail tonight. So
okay. Well, we want to get to know you. So if you guys haven't seen it after the show today, go check out the Sean Ryan episode with Jared. It's really good.
From February.
Yeah, from February. It's a great blessing. And so we got Jared on. I got to see Jared at the TPUSA event in Alabama a couple of months ago. And so Jared, let's start with probably what interests people the most, just at least a portion of your life, becoming a Navy SEAL. Is that something you dreamt of, you wanted to do your whole life, and how did you do that?
Yes, I know. Long story short, the Lord just kind of opened the doors. He called me to go towards the military, and in the process of trying to figure out what that call looked like, see what doors were open, at the time there were special operations contracts. And NSW contract was the hardest to obtain. That was the one for SEAL. That was the hardest to get. So I was just like, well, Lord, this is the route I'll go. If I pass all the tests I got to pass and get this contract, I'll know that I'm going in the right direction. Just kind of trusting in the sovereignty of God, I guess, in that way. And then if I don't pass this, then I'll go to the next one. And so in the process, as an 18-year-old, kid at the time, passed the SEAL contract the first time, and that's the route I went. If I was to tell you what my rathers were, reading Black Hawk Down, seeing the movie Black Hawk Down, I always wanted to go be a Ranger on the Army side, and then I always liked the idea of being a Marine sniper. That old Tom Berenger movie, Sniper. I don't know if y'all remember that. Yeah. So those two things were what I really thought. SEAL never crossed my mind until, hey, this is the hardest one. We'll start with this, and that's the one I got.
What was the thing that sucked the most about Buds for you? What stands out as the worst part of the experience?
Well, the cold water. I mean, pretty hypothermia, yeah, hypothermic, all that stuff. It's the cold water. That's a game changer, especially for an Alabama boy where we didn't really know what cold was,
Right.
So.
Yeah, we went to Commander Geary's retirement at the Buds compound, and after the whole ceremony was over with, he just decided to put a little pressure on those Navy SEALs that were there, a bunch of retired SEALs and legendary SEALs, and he requested that they all join him in the surf. And so a bunch of dudes just started tearing their clothes off. Some of them were swimming with their whole clothes on, jumped in that water again. A bunch of legends, even a guy that was the original Men with Green Faces was there. They all dove in that water, and it looked horrible.
Did that guy get in too?
I don't know. There was so many of them that jumped in the water.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, a bunch of like legends came out, and they were like, "I don't ever want to do that again." The cold water, it's awful. So okay,
100%. It's terrible.
So you go from being a Navy SEAL, such an amazing accomplishment, and you love Jesus, and you're out now. And so in 2019, you started an organization and started working in the area of human trafficking. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so long story short, the Lord had blessed me and my wife and some of the business ventures that we took when I got out of the SEAL teams. I'd become a law enforcement officer, and one of the things that we had noticed is there being a need for local law enforcement here in the United States of America to learn how to proactively go after individuals who are buying and selling kids. So with all of that being said, what we did is we took some of the excess that God had provided with us, and there's some other people that partnered with us in that process, and we started a nonprofit Covenant Rescue Group that specifically teaches law enforcement agencies, local law enforcement agencies primarily, how to go after individuals who are buying and selling kids. So we work human trafficking in particular through child exploitation. On the other side of that, we have me being a law enforcement officer and maintaining my credentials. The SEAL thing is great, but it doesn't matter your special operations background. You can't just take what you were doing overseas and bring it back here stateside and use it as a law enforcement officer. So we had to maintain law enforcement credentials so that we were working effectively and appropriately with the skill sets we learned from special operations, but also within the confines of a law enforcement officer here in the United States, which is really our U.S. Constitution. That's what we're looking to uphold, is the constitutional protections provided by this country. And that's what we started doing.
So I want to ask you about that, because that's pretty fascinating to me, and I didn't realize you could even do that. So I'm assuming most listeners are like, what do you mean by that? So basically, you have your nonprofit you set up, but then the government has given you law enforcement credentials. So what does that look like? How does that work so that you can work the two things together?
Yeah. So long story short, I went to the police academy when I left the SEAL teams, and I became a post-certified law enforcement officer in the state of Alabama. I went through the Title 19 training. I think it's Title 19, whatever is required for the to be a federal TFO. So if you're a local post-certified agent, you can become a federal TFO, task force officer, with the Marshal Service, the FBI, Homeland Security. I went the Homeland Security route. We've got some board members. One is an FBI task force officer. The other is a U.S. Marshal Service task force officer. So I say all that to say you have to be a local agent, and then the feds will deputize you under their authority, federally. So the way we do it is, we're not really getting paid by the government per se to do anything. Our nonprofit covers all the training. It covers most of our team's salaries. And if they're a full-time individual, it covers their salaries. And we're able to offer that time at no charge to the government to specifically work child exploitation on their behalf, because we're really good at working child exploitation. And we help them build cases. We help other agents build cases. But our primary focus is to go in with a local agency, and they have all of the authority in the jurisdiction. And we teach that local agency how to proactively go after individuals who are buying and selling kids. And once we teach them, we set up a live operation with them, and we run it alongside them. That's the biggest thing. From the special operations community, it's known as a combat advisor, right? And that's what we'd do overseas. We'd train them, and then we'd run a live op with them. Well, that's what we're doing law enforcement agents here stateside. We train them and run a live op. The one other thing I'll tell you with that is it's not just to make a physical arrest. It's also to have a successful prosecution. There's two aspects to law enforcement in the United States of America. One, physical apprehension. Two, successful prosecution. And then third, and so much for it's the judiciary, making sure it's sentencing. And then the legislative and the judicial branch is focus branch. snatching the bad guy, prosecuting the bad guy, and that's important.
Jared, tell us about, you're kind of breaking up here, so hopefully this clears up, but tell us about what an operation looks like where you are catching somebody who is buying and selling kids. What's that like?
Yeah, so in short, what it's like is we will train the agency on how to appropriately target, I like that word, target, individuals who will be showing up for a random sex act with a child. So that's only 7% of the time that takes place. 93% of the time that kids are exploited, they're exploited by somebody who's a person of trust. 37% of the time, it's going to be father, mother, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, a close family member. 46% of the time, it's going to be, a pastor, a teacher, a law enforcement officer, a firefighter, somebody that child should trust, a close family friend. So we're going after the 7% of the time it's a random act, and we teach agencies how to target that. Once we teach them how to target that, we set up the live operation, and we're normally building felony cases in about 3 hours, and we'll average, no matter where we're at, our average is about 10 arrests per training and operation. And so that's in a nutshell how we do it. We just train them how to target that 7% of the time. The reason that's important is because when you find that individual who is showing up to buy a 14-year-old girl, you find real victims that they're attached to 30% of the time. So out of every 10, there'll be 3 guys who have a real victim attached to them in that moment. The worst that I've seen, we arrested a guy showing up for a 14-year-old girl. He was having sex and producing child porn with his own 18-month-old daughter.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that was the worst that I've seen. But you'll have guys, they'll have victims. A guy, he wound up getting deported. He was an illegal immigrant, but he had this other lady who was an illegal immigrant as well. She was locked in a trailer, and he was making her perform sex acts. He shows up to buy a 14-year-old that we were running not too far from where I live at Birmingham, or north of Birmingham. And she was, forced to be locked in a trailer for hours on end, performing sex acts for him. And he was putting the videos out there, selling the videos.
Oh my gosh. So, Jared, is it something similar to or akin to like To Catch a Predator with Chris Hansen, that kind of setup, like through the internet, someone, you throw a lead out and someone tries to bite and then they show up? Is that what's going on?
Yes, in short, that's really what it is. But it's a little more than that, because what Chris does, sometimes he'll take leads, which is more reactive. We develop a lot of the leads through the platforms that these guys will come on to. And we use what's called proof of life. We use a real decoy. So when they show up, they have a young lady or a young man who they believe is 14 or 15 years old, meet them at the door. We put them through training. We have 19, 20, 21-year-old young men and young women that once we put them through training, a lot of times we'll sign them up at the agency as what's called a confidential informant, a paid confidential informant. And so they're acting in that capacity, and that helps with the prosecution on the back end, because there's no way around it. Like, this guy literally showed up and got in the car walked through the door, or tried to get one of our decoys in their car. They legitimately thought they were getting a 14-year-old. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Wow.
Disgusting.
Well, praise God for that work, brother. So you go from this epic life, brother. Praise the Lord for it. So Navy SEAL to law enforcement to rescuing people who are essentially, it's modern slavery, enslaved into human sex trafficking. And now you are working towards hopefully becoming a senator in the state of Alabama. So why that move?
Yeah. So, long story short, I've never really been involved in politics other than keeping up with what's going on. You vote in your primaries, you vote in your general election, you make sure that you vote your Christian conservative values. That's what I believe. But when the Lord opened the doors, let's say, for me to even consider this, it was something that, my dad, I sat down and talked with him in depth. I think if you have a godly father, it's important that you seek wisdom and counsel, even though I'm 40 years old, from your, earthly father. A lot of times there's wisdom there. And so I sat down and talked with him, and he said, "Son, I've been alive for almost 70 years and I've never had an opportunity like this available." He said, "That might be God's answer right there. You need to really take prayerfully consider this." And As my wife and I started praying through it and walking through it, she was on board with it. Man, the Lord just opened the doors, and that's the only way that I can explain me delving off into it. Now that we're in it, and really over the last 6 months as this decision has been made, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe 7 months, one thing I've learned is that the position of U.S. Senate, a U.S. Senator, is a force multiplier. And it can be a force multiplier for bad or good. Force multiplier in the SEAL teams is a machine gun, right? You take a belt-fed machine gun, give it to one SEAL, you turn him into 4 SEALs. And that machine gun takes on the face of the person who is holding on to it. You give that same machine gun to a bad guy, and it's going to negatively impact us. It's going to be a bad thing. So I just saw the position of senator as a force multiplier. And for far too long, we've had these career politicians want to climb the ladder, and they embody the position, and they give us poor results because they're not the leaders of this nation. We, the people, are. Preamble of the Constitution. We, the people, are the kings and queens of this nation, of our states, and we elect representatives who are supposed to go and represent our behalf as a lesser magistrate. They're supposed to represent us appropriately, and we just haven't seen that. And I thought, if I have the opportunity to do this, if God's put the opportunity in front of me to do this and I don't, what kind of man am I?
Well, brother, as a follower of Christ, as a believer, what are some of the most important commitments that you have that you want to do if the Lord allows and you become senator in the state of Alabama? What are some of the primary commitments you have? What do you want to see reformed or reshaped or put in as a foundation?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the primary commitments we have as Christians, but as Americans, is life, right? I know that y'all stand on that, whether it's the life of the unborn, the life of citizens, where I'm really involved right now, the life of children who are negatively impacted due to the world that they're in at the time, children being exploited, or the life of grown adults who are trying to make decisions to feed their family and take care of them. It's life, and it's making sure that the government doesn't step in and stand for death or the removal of your ability to live your life appropriately. And it segues perfectly into liberty. That's the next thing. We have freedoms. Like there was our forefathers, they said, hey, we would rather die than not have our liberties, right? So with that being said, give me liberty or give me death, standing on behalf of the people so that they have the liberty to live their life, the life that God's given them, to the fullest. And then the final piece, as Locke outlined, it's property. As Jefferson outlined, because everybody couldn't own property then, the pursuit of happiness, right? The ability to be able to live your life out in the way that, I hate to say the way that you see fit, because ultimately we want it to be the way that God sees fit. But if we're founded on Christian principles, then we'll become a moral nation again, and making sure that we have that life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness while maintaining our moral integrity, because you can't do it without that moral integrity. So I don't know, my initial take on your question.
Right on, brother. Thank you for that. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break, everybody. We'll be right back. More with Jared Hudson. I do want to explore a little bit more of the human trafficking thing. There's questions. Of course, people are talking about 300,000 missing children. That's in the atmosphere in the news, and ICE's involvement and all of that. I want to ask Jared some specific questions about what he would understand. What's the scope of this problem? Is it really as terrible as we unfortunately might think that it is? And so, quick commercial break. Stay with us, everyone. Don't forget to hit the like and the share buttons. Let everyone know about Jared and what he's doing in Alabama. We'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by IonLayer at ionlayer.com. Go and check out the health benefits, the wellness benefits, and longevity benefits of NAD treatments. NAD is nicknamed the fountain of youth for a reason. You have an abundance of this in your system when you're young. As you get older, it drops off, and now we've found a way to get NAD into our systems. They do it through IV treatments, but they're very expensive, and it's also extremely painful and difficult. However, IonLayer found a way to get a high dose of NAD into your system through a medical patch you wear on your arm. You wear it for about 14 hours. You get a high dose of NAD treatment into your system, and no pain at all. And it is a fraction of the cost of what you would pay for an IV treatment. In the coupon code, type in Apologia in all caps. They're going to hook you up with a great discount for an already amazingly cost-effective product. And they bless Apologia Studios and help us to stay on the air and do all these programs with you. Don't forget also, Ion Layer has added a glutathione patch as well. Glutathione, the master antioxidant. Go check out the health benefits of glutathione. I'm doing this stuff anyways. It's blessed my life in tremendous ways. And so if you want to focus on your health, wellness, and longevity, nothing better in my mind than ionlayer.com for your NAD and glutathione treatments. ionlayer.com. Don't forget to put Apologia in all caps in the coupon code. Welcome back, everybody, here with Jared Hudson. Very important conversation talking about human trafficking, sex trafficking, exploited children, and Jared now running for senator in the state of Alabama. If you're in the state of Alabama, get hooked up with him, make sure you support him, and all of that. So, Jared, I wanted to talk about this problem because your organization has done stuff internationally, but also in the United States of America. And so there's been lots of conversation over the last couple of years, especially I'd say at the start of COVID. Some of the conversation got a little weird in terms of underground tunnels and stuff like that, and adrenochrome and drinking children's blood and stuff like that. But then you do get to some more legitimate stuff and concerns and provable concerns about, 300,000 missing children, the immigration coming across the border, the cartels, sex trafficking children, all that. Is it as bad as we might think that it is, Jared?
Well, just as a short answer, yes. I mean, it is as bad as we might think it is, but it's not what Hollywood makes it out to be, right? You just mentioned a lot of stuff. I've heard people forever talk about the, children in the tunnels under DC, and Pizzagate and all these things. There might be some validity to powerful people within our government. There might be some validity to somebody that ran a pizza shop up that way that were exploiting children. But the one thing that I noticed, and this is over some of the places that I personally worked, so it is anecdotal in nature, but what I've noticed is that 93% rule that I told you all about earlier, that 93% of children that are exploited by a person of trust, that is what there somewhere going to be a kid away from it. Do those things exist? Epstein Island, it exists. Justice needs to be served. But when you think about it, we don't need to focus and concentrate on that so much because I can't impact that. What can I impact? I can impact my community. I can impact my kids. I can impact individuals that are targeting my children, as opposed to thinking of these things that are really, they don't do justice or they don't do service to real justice because they're conspiracies that wind up not being true or not being the way we think they are. And so I'm very focused on how can we really save children. The 300,000 children, yeah, that is something that's definitely there. These children came across the border during the Biden administration unchecked, and that put them at risk to being trafficked because individuals see, hey, wow, this kid's not, doesn't really belong to anybody. And so they're able to traffic children like that much easier. That's one of the things that we've seen. I'll tell you a quick story to hopefully bring this in and hone it. We rescued a little girl. She was out of a cage. Her name was Isabella. She was 14 years old when she ran away from home. Her mother and her stepfather primarily was sexually abusing her. She runs away back to her dad and brother's house. They weren't sexually abusing her. They were physically abusing her, like putting cigarettes out on her, beating her and stuff. So she runs away from them. The state wound up maintaining control of her at the end of all. She winds up moving in and starting to live with this 24 or 25-year-old kid who was slinging dope in the area that we were working in. We found her locked in a cage in his backyard. And when he would leave during the day, he would lock her in a cage in the back. But she ran to him. And for all intents and purposes, the life that she had with him was better than the life that she had at home. Now, he was selling her to his buddies. He was making a little bit extra money selling her to his buddies, but she's now sleeping with his friends. He's making money on it. She's living with him. He's taking care of her. He's locking her in a cage in the backyard. But, for her to hear her talk, That was better than having cigarettes put out on you by your dad or your brother, being beat, or being sexually abused by her mom's, 55-year-old boyfriend. So that young lady didn't have any home or anybody to return to. That was the best option of a bunch of terrible options. And so that's kind of what we see with these 300,000 kids that have come across the border. It's not that the government's trafficking them or anything like that. It's that they don't have anything to go to. They don't have anybody. And so they're gonna wind up being caught up in the wrong thing and being used in that capacity. That is what we see as real human trafficking when we really look at it. Extremely terrible, but oftentimes not in the way that we view it through the Hollywood lens.
Jared, can I ask you this question? Is it to the degree that, let's say, take a place like Phoenix, large area, huge population, are there actual organizations, dark, sinful, evil organizations in, say, a place like Phoenix that literally have collected children, have enslaved them, and are using them for sex trafficking as an organization, as a business? Is it happening here in, say, a city like Phoenix, something like that?
I would say in a place like Phoenix, yes, but not so much the way that you're thinking about it when you mention that, or the thought process it elicits. It's really more just gang activity. Almost all the time we see drug and gang activity involved in any human trafficking. And it might not be underage kids. It might be girls that are barely legal. It might be, girls into their mid-20s. That's where we see it more. It's more of a prostitution piece. But those that are being sold in that way, never interviewed a single one of them that weren't impacted at a younger age. At some point in time, they were a victim, even if they're not a victim now. Mm-hmm. So I'd say yes, but it's not like some dark satanic organization in the sense that they're lighting candles on the floor and they're drinking people's blood and all this craziness we see. And you've got these, highfalutin folks from Hollywood coming out to pay for them. Maybe that stuff does exist. I've never seen it. But what I do know is that if you have an organization sell people, it is gang related. And that's more or less what we see. On the other side, you do have influential families that, again, exploit their own children or exploit children that are close to them in the way that we just talked about. That's where I've seen more of that, weird satanic, burning candles. I think it's all satanic. It's all demonic, right? But it's just what thought process do you elicit when you mention that? But most of the satanic stuff is back to that 93% of a person to trust. Most of the organizations selling kids, that's going to be that 7% of the time where they randomly pick up somebody and they're selling them as a gang.
Jared, just a last question on this point. I think there's so many people that would be passionately committed to fighting against something like this. I mean, genuinely, passionately committed to fighting against it. But I think most Christians are probably struggling with that first question is like, how would I even get involved in something like this? How do I invest time, invest money? How do I actually invest my life into trying to do something to save these children? What should they do?
Well, so there's a couple of things that you can get involved in. Most of what we see in the United States of America, people will say they're combating it. I'm tied to a lot of different organizations that do. It's not that they're combating it, but they are advocacy centers, child advocacy, counter trafficking advocacy. These women that are stuck in it, most of the time they're drug addicted. As a matter of fact, everyone that I've interviewed has been drug addicted and they have to go through detox programs. So the church can most certainly be involved in the advocacy component, because it doesn't matter if you remove this individual out of a terrible life, they get detox, they're off of drugs, they stop getting sold, they stop selling, so whatever it is, right? You save them out of this terrible sex trafficking arena. If they don't hear the gospel of Christ, it becomes irrelevant at some point in time. So I think the church is the best thing to get involved on advocacy. As far as combating it, the church also can be great in combating it with us. We partner with churches around certain areas, and they come in, and if a law enforcement agency allows it, for the prosecution, this is why we can't do this, but we'll slip a gospel track into some of the guys we've arrested's bags. That's hard to say, because you want to tell them to report to the parking lot so I can hit you in the face with my axe, right? He's got that axe sitting on his table. The problem is a lot of these guys, they still deserve the same grace and mercy that Jesus offers us. They still deserve it. And I do believe for these guys, because you're hopefully going to remove them out of the sin. Doesn't mean that they don't pay for it. Most of them are going to spend a long time in prison. They're going to have to register as sex offenders, go down the list of things. With that being said, we to hear the gospel. And so 2 ways that I've seen the church be able to be involved on the advocacy and the combatant side.
Excellent.
How many groups do you know of in the nation that do what you're doing? Just curious.
I don't know of any. There's one, and I can't remember the name of the group off the top of my head. I'll have to text it to you. They're up in Colorado Springs. They've come and worked with us some and kind of see what we're doing. They're trying to do that. It's a couple of former special operations guys that got into federal law enforcement. And then there was another one out west somewhere that was trying to do some of the same thing, but I don't know if they're even still around. I don't know what their success level was. But I know as far as partnering with law enforcement agencies in the way that we do, to my knowledge, we're the only ones that are doing that.
Wow, that's incredible. So you've been doing it roughly 6 years. How many, just curious, and I don't know if you know these numbers or not, but how many arrests have you guys been able to make, and like what's your positive prosecution rate on those arrests?
Yeah, so we're 100% on prosecutions on all the ones we made.
Wow.
I mean, that's why it's important to make sure that you teach it appropriately for successful prosecution, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But I want to say that we're somewhere around, you can look at the website, it might say it, but I think over the last 6 years, we're probably somewhere around 1,000 arrests. Now, that's just us doing the training with the agency. We don't count the arrests the agency makes when we leave.
Yeah.
We have agencies that have made, 200 and 300 arrests over a couple of year period after we've left. And that's our goal. That's what we want to do. That's how you positively impact human trafficking in this nation. You empower the closest form of government to the people, which, that's John Locke. The closest form of government to the people is the most effective form of government. Empower that closest form of law enforcement official to the people, and they're going to be able to positively impact human trafficking in their community. The reason we're big on having a good prosecution rate, like I said, we're 100% right now. Most of the time these get, pled out, they'll plea out. And for us, as long as the prosecutor's happy and as long as the guy's registered as a sex offender, we're okay with whatever they want to work, depending on who the individual is. With that being said, for every individual showing up for a little girl, there are 50 victims in their wake before they're prosecuted. For every individual showing up for a little boy, there's 150 victims in their wake before they're prosecuted. So that is, the prosecution is an important thing, not before they're arrested. Some of these guys get arrested and then you get a null pros and nothing ever happens. You just made them smarter. The goal is a successful prosucution. That's why I'm not big on these predator hunter guys that show up and beat people up.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
And all that stuff. I mean, it looks cool, but it's not real justice because, one, you're not actually changing the course of this individual's life. You're just making them smarter, making it harder for law enforcement to catch them. It's not real justice. But number two, a lot of times when they roll somebody up, these young men they roll up, a lot of times have a mental disability. One of the biggest things that we've seen, which is why it's good to work with a local law enforcement agency, is most of the time the locals know when you're dealing with somebody that has a mental disability and they're like, hey, we know this guy, we know showing up. We've got to deal with it appropriately. Because I don't care if you got a mental disability or not. You show up for my girls, we're not talking about that. You're getting tuned up, you're getting shot, whatever it is. So we got to make sure we deal with it appropriately, but it looks different than the 40-year-old coach that's showing up for a 14-year-old boy or girl. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why law enforcement being involved in this aspect of it is very, very important.
So, Jared, 2 more questions. One is becoming senator in the state of Alabama. Are you in support of a bill of equal protection to give equal protection to children in the womb?
That's Ernie's bill.
100%.
That's Ernie's bill we talked about.
Praise God, brother.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got it. Ernie.
I don't know, and I don't know how you could be against it.
As a Christian, no, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
All right, brother. Well, we'll give you our full support, my man. And so that leads to the next thing. How can people in Alabama be supporting you to help you get in that seat, brother?
Yeah, so you can check us out at hudsonforalabama.com. The biggest thing for this is, one, if you believe like me, if you're a Christian like me, pray for me and my wife and kids, right? God is, we serve an unbelievable God, and he is in charge of the cattle on 1,000 hills. It's going to be him that works us through this process. Pray for us. If you don't know Jesus like I do, ask God to reveal himself to you, and it'll be in the person of Jesus Christ. The second thing is on May 19th, if you're in Alabama, get out and vote, and make sure that you aggregate and tell other people to vote. On May 19th, that's what really matters, the Republican primary. The third thing, if you can financially support, if you can spread the word, if you have a platform to spread the word, we need all of those things, because it's really a big marketing campaign to get Jared Hudson, Christian, conservative, warrior, Navy SEAL, whatever you want, across the state of Alabama, so that Alabama knows the option they have for choosing a senator who's going to go and represent them in D.C.
Awesome.
Excellent, brother. Thank you so much, man, for joining us on the broadcast today, man. We're grateful for you.
Fellas, I'm grateful for y'all. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor.
Thanks, man.
I got one more question. Sorry, because people are asking in the chat. They want to know how they can go and support Covenant. Can they actually come physically and help you, or how do they help financially? I'm getting that question a lot. So
yeah, go to covenantrescue.org. You can say that you heard me on the show today. You can donate online. You can buy swag online, buy some of the Crush Evil hats and shirt, all that stuff. But you can shoot a message to them if you have a background in what we do, special operations, law enforcement, medical, advocacy background, whatever it is. Just shoot a message. The guys will get that, and we'll go through the process. We bring in people all the time that support our mission. So would love to partner with any of your folks in any way possible.
Awesome.
Jared, brother, bless you, man. You're doing God's work for real. Thank you, man.
Thank you, brothers. Y'all have a great day.
You too, brother. We'll be in touch, man.
Right on, man.
Later, fellas.
Yep.
I wonder, do we have to do another break right now?
I just have another ad.
Gabe, do we got a break?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. So we'll go to a quick commercial break, guys. We're going to come back. I want to talk to you about some important stuff. So stay with us. Thank you, guys. Make sure you guys do all the likey and sharey things. Put them across your social media. Jared's an awesome dude.
Yeah, he is.
And it's just one of those things, too, like, you're in the presence of a Navy SEAL. It's like when you're in San Diego walking along the beach and you're, like a mile off from the Buds compound, and you see like certain dudes running, you're like, okay, yeah, I know what that guy's doing. I know who he is. Jared's that kind of guy. In person, you're like, yeah, that's a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, he's just got that, the way he walks. He carries himself.
Yeah, the Navy SEAls have a certain sort of like aura. It's this thing hanging out on the side of them. All right, guys, so stay with us. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
This video is brought to you by Amtech Blades. We are very excited to be partnering with Amtech. Bill Rapier, longtime Navy SEAL, DevGuru operator, amazing brother and friend. Looking for a battle axe to carry on your person, to chop some wood? They've got you covered. Looking for a blade to carry on you every day? Also got you covered. Look at this. I got to check my mail. What do we got going on here? Oh, look how sharp that is. What is this? Oh, 5% off. You can go to amtechblades.com, put Apology in the coupon code, get 5% off your order, and he will match that and give 5% to End Abortion Now. Again, amtechblades.com. We're grateful for them. Check them out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Apologia Radio. Thank you again for listening and sharing and all you guys are doing to be a support to Apologia and all of our ministries. Again, as I said at the beginning of the episode, we have the app completed, done. It's in the stores waiting for approval. And so for those of you guys that have been waiting for so long, trust me, so have we. It's all done now, so we're waiting for that to get released. We're very, very excited for you guys to be able to have access to the app. So if you guys are not all access yet, go sign up for all access, be a part of this ministry with us. Truly, truly meaningful. Every single one of you who is a part of this ministry with us through all access, it's meaningful. The last Sunday at church, I had someone who was a former Mormon, born and raised Mormon, came up to me, came to Christ through watching the content here on Apologia Studios. That's worth our whole lives, everybody, just that one person that came to Christ. And so all of that is made possible through you. So if you are a beneficiary of all the content here on Apologia Studios, if it's been a blessing to you, sign up for all access. That app is about to drop. Wanted to point everybody also to what's coming next year. We have some new programs in store for you guys that we think are really going to bless you. Some conflict-driven media stuff that seems to bless people the most. Engagement with the world, defending the Christian worldview, so that's coming as well. But we also have next session and all throughout next year, bills of equal protection happening across the country. We've got like North Dakota, South Dakota, Alaska. We've got, someone said Tennessee's come up now. We've got Georgia coming up. I mean, it's just happening everywhere. Idaho. And so please be praying for those. We're getting closer and closer and closer. Our bill in Georgia has about 25% of the House of Representatives, the Republicans, as co-sponsors on our bill of equal protection. It's a very big deal. That in itself is historic. And so God is moving this in powerful ways. And big thank you to everybody who's been with us since the beginning with End Abortion Now. I want to encourage you, if you would, go to endabortionnow.com, give there. And by the way, if you're listening right now and you're a believer that God has blessed tremendously, financially, and you want to participate in ministry in a substantial way, we're looking for our large donors right now. We're waiting for word back from large donors right now for matching donations to help us get to our budget for next year. And so I know we try to do this right, and that is that we only come at the end of the year to say, help us to make our next year's budget. So we're not doing it all year long, but it's coming. So please be praying for us, because it is costly to do the work that we're doing in these other states. It's costly to raise churches up. We just got word in the last couple of months that we have churches in Spain, in Italy, and Armenia that have, because of this platform, have gotten word about this, and they've said the church is not here doing that, saving lives where they're killing them. Would you please help us to learn how to do this? And so the plan is, Lord willing, is to do what we did in Germany and in Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, and help to establish churches there that will be, right now, I mean, it looks, the way they're talking, like the first of the church's movement in those countries to go and save lives where they're taking them. This is a very big deal. I mean, God is doing tremendous things through a very small ministry, tremendous things globally. And so you can be a part of that with us. And so you can give at endabortionnow.com. Please do. Please give there. We need you to give there. And if you are a person, like I said, who God has blessed financially, and you feel like your purpose is to pour into these ministries and to support and to give them life and legs so they can do the work that they're doing, please contact us. Let us know. And we're working on all of our larger donors, believers who are part of this ministry with us, pulling together what we can for next year for the matching donation. And so if that's you, please contact us. We'd love to hear from you and love for you to do this ministry with us. And so, Luke, you want to say a couple things?
Well, one, I was just going to go back to Jared real quick. If you haven't seen, Jeff mentioned at the beginning, if you haven't seen the Sean Ryan episode he was on, check it out. I went back and started listening again today. And I had forgotten. It's like literally the first 20 minutes of the show. He's talking about the gospel.
Right.
It's
so awesome.
I love it. It was great. Like Sean Ryan's like, what does it mean to be a born again believer? And Jared's like, I'm glad you asked. Like, so it's cool. Jared's he's awesome, and I've got to spend some time talking to him, and hopefully I know we'll be talking some more. But it's the point I'm getting at is, what he's doing goes hand in hand with End Abortion Now, because a lot of abortions in our nation are a result of, the human trafficking and the rape and the all that. Like, those girls are being impregnated and then being forced to have abortions, and so these two ministries, if you will, go hand in hand.
Right.
And so I'm excited to be partnering with him, hopefully, because they just naturally seem to get. He's literally rescuing those being led to slaughter. And
one's going to affect the other.
Exactly right. And he has a very unique perspective. Coming from that side of things to see, just the amount of abortions that come out of that awful stuff. I mean, it takes a special kind of person to be able to do that. I think
for sure. Yeah.
I don't think I could do it because I'd probably end up in jail, to be honest.
Yeah. For sure. Hard to restrain yourself.
Yeah. So anyways, grateful for him and we got big stuff coming in Abortion Now this next year. And like Jeff said, we're adding South Dakota, Lord willing, this year, and I got 4 kits right there about to send to Alaska. Probably won't have a biller this year, but we're working on setting some stuff up there for hopefully the next year. The Lord's doing a lot of work through a very small team, and I should say, in a few small teams, because we work hand in hand with
other groups.
like Bradley Pierce and his group and OSA and some of those guys, and that's about it. Like, we're very small numbers. The Lord's doing big things through small
huge
numbers. But we depend on, obviously, people's faithfulness and
it
generosity.
really is incredible because that is true, Luke. I mean, you have very faithful Christians across the country, pastors and organizations who are doing this work and moving this forward, this cause of justice for the preborn forward. But if you really put them together, they can fit in a very small room. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I mean, if you think about, these organizations and the people who work for them on a regular basis, it's nowhere near, say, the pro-life establishment. They're just the money and the large numbers and the buildings and everything else. It is truly an incredible thing to see God doing what he's doing with just the truth, the gospel, and it's happening across the country, and it's a powerful thing. And so yeah, we need you guys to be with us. Sometimes people ask, how can I be a part of this? I mean, pray for us, of course, participate, show up, go to the abortion mills, show up when we're doing rallies, show up when we have a bill in a certain state, and please give financially. We're only limited by finances. That's it. If we had more finances, we could do more work. And that's the only limitation we really have. And God's done amazing things and blown our minds just through the smallness of this thing. But we'd love to do a lot more. And so we need you to be with us in this, partner with us. Everything counts. Everything matters. Everything is meaningful. We're thankful for all of you. And so don't forget, everyone, go to apologiastudios.com, go to the store and get all the swag, get all the shirts and t-shirts and hats and all that stuff. And don't forget to get the tracts. People use these tracts literally around the world, around the country. We've got tracts for the abortion mill. We've got basic gospel tracts. We've got all kinds of stuff. And so if you guys are doing evangelism to Mormons, someone just said in here, Mormon Church is growing rapidly. How do we go about this? I would say first thing, make sure you open your mouth, speak up, and go reach the Mormons. Don't just talk about it in your homes. Get out there on the street, find them, reach them with the gospel. We have tracts for that as well.
Missing. I just noticed. I'm like, where's it at?
Yeah, the Gospel for Mormons tract. God has used that in profound ways around the world, and so we have that at the store. Get the Gospel for Mormons tract. If you see missionaries riding by, stop them, talk to them, give them the tract. Go to the Mormon wards on Sundays and go stand out there on the sidewalk and try to engage them with the gospel. Go to your local temple, engage them in the gospel. Put together content on your own stuff. Make stuff to explain to people the difference between the Mormon Jesus and the true Jesus, the Mormon gospel and the true gospel. Do content. You have this right here in your pocket all day. You can communicate with the entire planet right now, and you can preach the gospel to any community that you want. It is a tremendous gift, so use it. But go, get some tracks. Get some track. They're at apologiastudios.com. And, of course...
Yeah, and before I switch to that, as far as the shop, I've been mentioning we're not going to have a show next week because it's Thanksgiving. Which, by the way, where's our Christmas tree?
Ooh, it's coming. Yeah, I'm on it.
This is really late for us to not have a Christmas tree.
You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. That's a major failure. That is a major failure.
I was just thinking about
I
it.
did not even think about that. Wow.
We're slipping here.
Big time.
We won't have a show next week, but we will have a Black Friday sale at the shop, and I'm very, very excited because I've got a bunch of new stuff coming up. It's going to be our new for Christmas collection. There's even a Christmas themed shirt I'm very excited about. So be looking for that. There will be that Black Friday sale. We'll put that up with the code and all that, send that out to everyone. And then, of course, I mentioned Bradley Pierce already, but heritagedefense.org. You can go there if you homeschool your kids. Please sign up with them. It's very, very affordable, and make sure your kids are protected from 3-letter agencies. It's sad we got to protect them from 3-letter agencies and other predators.
Mm-hmm.
Predators comes in many shapes and sizes. But go to heritagedefense.org, put Apologia in the coupon code, and get your first month free. Oh, and Josiah, sorry, one more I forgot to mention. Of course, Dominion Wealth. I almost blanked the name. Dominion Wealth, you saw the commercial at the beginning. Adam's always up in the chat. Love those dudes, and grateful for them and their support as well.
We're going to go to Apologia Studios in just a moment here. So the show's going to end here. If you guys are all access, we're going to do something special for you. We're going to go... Love Tucker. Engage with some of his comments. I think will be very, very helpful for us. And so join us over there. Come and hop over there. Our community over on that side, apologiastudios.com. If you're all access, you know how to do it. Meet us over there. Aftershow, Apologia Aftershow. Thank you for joining us today. Make sure this thing goes far and wide. Again, very excited for next year. We have some big plans, some exciting plans. just to really take things to a new level with communication of the gospel around the world. And so be in prayer for us. Be in prayer for our discipline, our new strength, and for the voice of the gospel to go far and wide. And pray, if you would, also financially, that the Lord would allow us to have everything we need to accomplish all of the dreams that we have for the gospel, the communication of the gospel around the world. And we're so grateful for you all. I'm the Ninja. That's the Bear.
Peace out, everybody.
We'll catch you next week, and I'll see you over on the Aftershow, ApologiaStudios.com.